So, episode 6 of Rugby Talk, the first episode in 2 years. We have none other than Wallabies under 20 Flyhalf in New South Wales Waratahs Flyhalf, Jack Bowen. Welcome on the Rugby Talk, brother.
Thank you very much for having me. Thank you very much.
Thanks so much for taking out the time. I know it's not always easy, making some sacrifices there, doing it in the evening. I've had some podcasts that were where I had to get up either early in the morning, whatever, because of time zones. But thank you so much for taking out the time, brother.
No, thanks for having me. Looking forward to it.
And Jack, you just finished your season now with the New South Wales Waratahs. Your second season, obviously being selected in 2023 and now again 2024. I suppose you guys are quite a young squad. So how was the experience when you were first selected last year?
Yeah, last year getting my first cap for the Waratahs, it was pretty special feeling. You know, I've dreamed of playing for the Waratahs ever since I was a little kid, and to be told in a team meeting that you're going in and getting to debut for the side that you've grown up wanting to play for was really special. And what made it even more special was, you know, going over there and playing against the Blues in Auckland at Eden Park and facing my childhood idol in Bowen, which was a pretty special moment for my family and I. And obviously, result didn't go our way that night, but it was a night I'll never forget.
Awesome, and you never get your first one, eh? And you're talking about Bowen Barrett being your role model. How quick is he?
Yeah, he's lightning. He is, genuine freak. Those guys like, you know, Bowden, Richie, they just play the game in such an exciting manner. And, you know, for someone a lot younger than them coming through and watching them, even though it was for the All Blacks against Australia a lot of the time, that was so exciting to watch, and just obviously good people as well. So, pretty good role models, those guys.
It's awesome, man. And because obviously you have to watch, you know, you're playing against, every week you're playing against a different team, and then you need to watch what are the good points, what you need to look out for. But Bowden and Richie is obviously so unpredictable. You don't know what they're going to do in there. So they're going to kick, pass, or they're going to take it on themselves.
No, exactly. And that's where, for me, growing up and being a Flyhalf as well, watching them and the triple threat they are with their run, pass and kicking game is something that I want to bring into my game and bring that excitement into my game. But obviously they're pretty special players and have done it for such a long time and dominated at the world stage.
Definitely. And based off your season with the Waratahs, obviously having pretty good players in there as well. We talk about Dylan Peach as well. I was watching the highlight videos and the moves from the backline incorporating with the forwards with the backdoor play. How good is Dylan Peach?
Yeah, Peach, he's a freak. He's a freak. You know, I'd be really surprised this year if he doesn't get selected in the higher honours, whether it's the Wallabies or, you know, I think it should be the Wallabies. You know, he's such a damaging ball carrier, strong in defence, and just communicates really well in the backfield and makes our jobs as Flyhalf easy to get the ball out to someone like him, because he's always calling for it and works very hard off the ball. And he had a hell of a season.
Literally. And for you guys as young players or any Super Rugby Pacific players, especially within the Australian teams, are there always talk coming out of the Wallabies camp about what you need to do in order to be selected?
Yeah, I guess I probably haven't put myself in that position to be selected for the Wallabies yet, but I know there's always feedback coming back down from the Wallabies back down to club level in Super Rugby. So I guess there is a clear pathway now with the new coach, obviously Joe Schmidt coming in. For guys that if you can put your hand up and play well consistently throughout Super Rugby, that opportunities are going to come up. And I think, you know, hopefully we'll have a good contingent from the Waratahs in there again this year. And hopefully the Wallabies can get a few more wins this year than last year.
Definitely. And we talk about last year's rugby championship and where Bernard Foley was told to kick out the ball. How
Yeah.
did you feel as a supporter watching that on? Because I mean, his teammates is screaming at him to kick the ball, and he's turning back to them, and then the ref gave it for a scrum, and that obviously
Yeah,
changed the entire game.
it was bizarre, wasn't it? It was, yeah, bizarre. I'd never seen anything like it on such a stage as well. And Bernard, who I thought that night had played so well, and then obviously coming down to that, and obviously New Zealand are so good in that you give them a little sniff like that and they take it. So, yeah, it was really weird. I remember lining up to kick it in Lullakai, or like just yelling at him to kick it, and obviously didn't. And yeah, it was just a really, really weird situation, something I've never seen before.
I never seen that either, and I mean, obviously, emotions running high. You just need to hold on to the last few minutes, and then the game is yours, or the championship is yours, rather. I popped Will Harrison a DM. He was supposed to come on as well, but he was probably busy. I think that was in last year. But I popped him a DM recently when you guys got the win over my team, the Crusaders, and edging out to the penalty, I think it was. And then I told him something in the lines of that I'm not too happy that you guys beat my team, but well done that you actually beat them.
Yeah, no, that was a pretty cool night. Obviously, we beat them twice this year, and you know, they probably weren't the team that they have been the last sort of 7 to 10 years, where they've just completely dominated. And can imagine, as a Crusader supporter, you've had a nice last 10 years watching them and watching the success.
Yeah, of the year.
Yeah, no, they're obviously an awesome franchise and have done so well for so long. So, you know, it's a little bit weird to see them sit where they did this year. But I'm sure, obviously, with the amount of talent that comes out of there, that they'll bounce back, and with some more experienced players probably coming back next year, that I've no doubt they'll probably be back up the top again next year.
Definitely. I mean, a rebuild is always difficult, and people want results imminently, especially as a supporter. Obviously, you could have thought what's going through any supporter's mind at that time. Coach and this player, why is he being selected, and all of these things. But if you look at it, there's a lot of young guys, and then when the experienced guys came back towards the end, you could see much more stability, and then the experience is obviously showing with some All Blacks, obviously, as key players. I'm thinking about it now that my first favorite rugby player actually was Derek Barnes was actually my first favorite, and then it was Dan Carter actually after him. So I always used to watch Barnes and Ito, obviously that 12, 10-year-old that they used to swap. So yeah, he was my first player.
Yeah, no, Berwick, and I remember growing up and watching Berwick and Matt Giddo, and obviously then Dan Carter, and just how good they were. Like Berwick probably doesn't get the or the credit he deserved and recognition now, but he was so good back when he was at the Reds and the Waratahs and the Wallabies, and obviously Matt Giddo was a freak as well. And then obviously Dan Carter's probably the best player of all time.
Yeah, definitely.
He's done it all, and supporting him for the Crusaders would have made life pretty easy. So yeah, he's a hell of a player.
Definitely. And I tried getting Colin Slade on as well. I think he was probably busy at the time because he initially agreed upon. But I'm thinking about the time of Dan Carter. It was the final against the Reds, I think, or in that season. And obviously it's Dan Carter. He came back from his sabbatical. But Colin Slade was playing so well that yes, they wanted Carter in the team.
Yeah.
And to shift him at 12 actually and keep Colin at 10. I mean, it shows the importance. Yeah, it shows the importance of form, I think, and trusting in a player. How important is that for you as a young flyer?
Yeah, I mean, the guys, I guess, outside of you especially, and I guess your halfback as well, is so important. At the end of the day, a lot of the time, they make a lot of decisions for us in terms of, you know, if we're on an edge and we're calling a play, or they're calling a play for us, that we roll around the corner and there's something set up for us already. So, you know, centers in your 15s and the way they communicate, especially for a young guy coming in and trying to control a team is really important. And, you know, to be at the Waratahs and have guys that are, you know, played at a really high level, and, you know, Lalakai and the centers, you know, Izzy, Joey Walton and Masesi are all quality players and have done done well at that Super Rugby level for a long time now. So it makes my job as a fly half a lot easier, and obviously having experienced halves inside of you as well, just makes our job so much easier.
It's awesome, man, because we always, as players, you look to the experienced guys. I mean, if you're just coming into a team, especially on this level, I need to ask, obviously I haven't experienced it yet. Hopefully I will one day. But obviously lots of hard work, laying the conditioning. How is if you're playing against any team, for example, I know each team defends maybe differently, but how quick is the line speed? I mean, if you're going from, say, for example, the Australians rugby league level, where the Canberra Vikings and they play in that division, and you go, for example, to under 20s and then to Super Rugby. How quick is the line speed transition now in Super Rugby?
Yeah, it's or just the pace of the game has just got so much quicker, and I guess every level you go up, the time you have on the ball is just fractionally just gets slower and slower. So, Super Rugby and the line speed, you go have guys coming from the 20 and 30 defender flying up at you, so you're literally catching it and passing it straight away, or really test your decision making because of the less time you have, and also the organisation of defence these days is so good, and the speed of the game and the way the game is played now, that it's so quick, and I think it has to even get quicker to make rugby more exciting. But yeah, the line speed in Super Rugby, especially in what I've experienced, is pretty big.
Yeah. I can only imagine those big hits flying in. You have to catch and give immediately. I mean, you don't have much time on the ball. Like, for example, if we had to play here at our club rugby league, we have a bit more time. Obviously, now if you go from third team to second team and then to the first team, that's already a transition in itself. The amount of intensity and things like that. So, definitely. I've spoken to Elliot Dixon before. I've spoken to James Marshall before. Obviously, when they debuted, it's much different than having a debut now. But obviously, the level of intensity never changes.
Yeah, it's just I guess the level of intensity, the level of the fitness of the players, and the rugby smarts. Like, you go back to club level and you have guys shooting out of the line. Late in the game, teams are lethargic coming off the line. Where Super Rugby, you've got that for 80 minutes. You've got guys coming at you quickly for 80 minutes, putting pressure. There's guys out there that just want to hit 5/8. So, you got to get rid of the ball quickly a lot of the time.
And I remember we played, I think it was 2014, I think it was. I was still I'm talking nonsense, 2013. I was still in the 10th grade, so we had a friendly game against some people like about half an hour from here. So my brother being like 6 years older than me, he was 22 at the time. We went with 2 cars, 15 guys, we went through with 2 cars, we loaded everyone in, we split them. And then I played Flyhalf at that day, and every single time I pass the ball's gone long already. Their flank would come and give me like a massive late hit. And every time I win, I'd be gutted. And then I just had to stand up again. Then they'd laugh. But I'm like, doesn't the ref see this like thrice in a row? And later on, I shifted to fullback. And then I know they gave a kick over. And I had to sweep. And then I put it out just to relieve the pressure, put it out with my left foot. And that's where I got the name eventually from my friends at the time. I got the nickname Bowen. Like Bowden Barrett at the time. Yeah. Just recovering.
Put it on your left as well.
Yeah, I had to. This massive guy that came still tackle me. But that was awesome. I think about side like a formal club rugby. When we used to organize friendlies, like my brother usually organize it. We'd either play it on our field here or 5 minutes away, or we'd go out for the day as a community. And then everybody would come. Yeah. So here where I currently live, so this is like a private area, like a small holding. So it's about half an hour from Cape Town. And if we organize a sports day, whatever, the entire community and surroundings will come and watch. Like when we have normal friendlies, rag days, it's massive. And it's awesome playing in front of such a crowd. But obviously, from my debut, the first time I'm playing like senior rugby, compared to the amount of people that you are playing in front of in I mean, in a major stadium. How was it when you made your debut the first time? Like the amount of people.
Yeah, it was definitely something I haven't played in front of. I was pretty lucky in the fact that where I debuted was Eden Park, and the history of the stadium, and going from playing club rugby where you play in front of 2,000 maybe to playing under the big lights at Eden Park was pretty cool. And just running out there, and even the most recent game we played against the Reds, just listening to the crowd. When we scored, and there was actually, a point in the game where, it's not a packed out stadium, but, 2 weeks ago where, I couldn't even hear my teammates because, how loud the crowd was. So it's a pretty cool feeling running out there, and especially the first time, it's something I'll never forget. But now it's just something that I just want more of, that adrenaline and feeling you get where you run out there and in front of a big crowd. There's not too many feelings like it.
Definitely, I can only imagine. And personally for myself, I've come back from quite a bad ankle injury. So that was last year, where we actually made Dan Carter. So we had to pay a fee, and then we had a training session with Dan Carter for about a couple of hours. And I remember I was a bit forward, but I ran to the other side of the field so he could kick the ball, so I could actually catch it. And it was 2 kicks that he gave. And I thought, okay, it'll be a normal catch, whatever. But when I caught the ball, I could feel that weight of the kick. That was, what the hell? How is it possible? If someone had to kick it to me, I'd catch it normally. But when it lands, when he kicked it, it's like that pressure. I don't understand actually. Like 2 of those kicks, and then later on at the end of the session, we played like a touch rugby, and I wanted to step this guy.
Yeah.
Then I just had a crack in my ankle. So that was the day of our community rugby day, and I iced it, and I still went to go on and play with a swollen ankle. So I strapped my ankle, I strapped it around the sock, I strapped it around the boot, and I was playing on wing that day, and played like for most again. The last 10 minutes is when I came off. So when I went to my girlfriend's house, with my girlfriend at the time before we got married, and I went to go and take off my sock and whatever, my entire ankle and my foot right around was purple.
And just
because I played, I was still not to play. No, couldn't. But I still had to go and work because I'm a teacher, and so I still had to go and work, and I had to stay obviously on my feet and things like that. So it was only sorry, it was 2022. So it was only in 2023, later on in 2023, when I could feel my ankles actually healed. Now I can play without strapping it and things like that. And then I've made a decision where you could join the university rugby team, but pretty famous in the Super League A. So years of success and things like that. So I've learned a lot in pre-season. Then I took a break for Ramadan, for the fasting, and now I came back and I have to learn now a lot of things. But I think I might have made the wrong decision in terms of joining the club, because it's more suited for university players. The last 3 weeks where they had the exam break, they were training in the morning. Now this week is another training in the morning for the entire week, and I can't join because I'm at work until when you're on school holidays and then I can go back. So I think conditioning and things like that for myself next year, and who I join is very important, because my family members, my uncle especially, and my cousin, they making fun of me because I'm like basically a journeyman, because I'm going from one club to the other. It's not what I wanted to do. The only reason why I do it is because out of experience, because I want to know why they are so successful and what they do that's different. And it's so important because of the class that I went to, I could see different things, and I've learned a lot from everywhere that I'm going. So I think, I'm turning 27 this year, so if I'm turning 28 next year, God willing, it's very important of where I choose to play. And because, I don't want to stop playing now, you understand?
Yeah, too young to stop playing.
My dream's always been ahead of you. Because my wife doesn't. I was in a joint with my cousin, and then my wife was a bit upset. She's saying no, that it's too late. The time you're going to come home and things like that. So I just decided, okay, you work in the area, I can pick you up, and then go to training. So I used to do that in the beginning, and then after a couple of times, she has to wait an hour and a half. So it started becoming dark earlier now before winter. And they said, no, but she's not going with me to training anymore. What must she do there all the time? So now I go alone.
Yeah. Oh God, how good, how good.
And we talk about, sorry, I didn't try to make it about myself. I just wanted to share that with you, like the
No,
level
that's
of
all.
from one club to the other.
Yeah, I love it. Love the loyalty of going from one club to another. You got to find out. Got to pick the best team.
Definitely.
Got to find the best place to play.
Because next week Saturday is my birthday actually, and I haven't even made my debut yet. So while I was in the preseason, it was all good, and I'm learning a lot. There's a lot of guys, obviously, that they have to select from. So hopefully, I hope that next week I can come train and then make my debut this Saturday, because it's
You can
again
play. Yeah.
against a couple of friends of mine. So hopefully,
Oh, nice. Yeah. You get to play against them.
Jack, can you speak to us and tell us more about your upbringing and your education, and then your journey through rugby before becoming a professional, please?
Yeah, so I went through the New South Wales, obviously, pathway. Started off playing rugby at a small club called Chatswood, and went to a school called Riverview. Just close to my house. So played rugby through there, and played, through the New South Wales teams in the age groups, and I guess was lucky when I was leaving school in year 11. It was 2020, and I did a meniscus injury in my knee, and was pretty fortunate to be offered a contract from the Waratahs when I was in year 11, and Rugby Australia for the next few years to sign with the Waratahs and join their squad. So was contracted throughout year 12, and my first year out of school was lucky enough to be in the academy at the Waratahs and do a bit of development, and got to train with the main team a little bit, but got some time to focus on my body and getting my body, I guess, to a level that could play Super Rugby. And then the following year being in the full-time squad, and last year getting one game against the Blues and I guess getting to play with the 20s in 2022, and obviously last year in Cape Town in 2023, which was definitely the highlight of my rugby career so far. And then onwards with the Waratahs now.
Awesome, man. That's brilliant. I wish we'd been in contact last year. I mean, that would have been awesome, because where you guys were playing wasn't far away from me. Wasn't that far away. Yeah, it's just one of those things.
It's an awesome city, Cape Town. Awesome city. We absolutely, I wish I was under 20s again this year to be going back. We had the best time over in Cape Town. Played some pretty cool footy, and loved, I guess, just the people and culture over there. We had the best time.
So you guys coming back again this year?
The World Cup is in South Africa again. Sadly, I'm too old now. I'm 3 days too old to be playing again, which I'd love to be playing again. But it'll be awesome again to have the World Cup there and all the teams, and just seeing the way that we got connected with South African clubs. I know we're with Collegians. Who were so they were pivotal in every single game we played. They were there and they were loud, and we're still in contact with a few of those kids and staff members now.
Awesome, man, awesome. They're doing pretty well too. Know a couple of players there as well, and
are they? Yeah,
some people. Yeah,
we hear about it. We hear about it from one of their coaches. Lets us know all the time how they're going. So it's good to be able to keep in contact with them.
So are you guys asked to send motivational videos and things like that, say on a weekly basis or bi-weekly basis?
Not on a weekly basis, but you get the obviously occasional request for a video or something. But in Sydney, where we're based, we try and get around to a lot of the junior clubs and promote the game, because obviously here in Australia there's 3 main sports in AFL, rugby league, and rugby union. So there's a lot of competition for kids around what sports they're going to play, and a lot of multi-sport athletes where, in the recent times, probably NRL and AFL have dominated that and become the two primary sports in Australia. So, I'd love to be able to get back to, bringing rugby back to where it was in 2003 World Cup, and, hopefully the 2027 World Cup and the Lions series next year, can do that.
Awesome, man. Hopefully, yeah, because I've seen how big the NRL is, especially from what I've seen on social media. It's absolutely massive, and the stadiums are packed. So that is, and you compare to the rugby stadiums, it's not as full and nowhere nearby actually. But hopefully, you guys can. I mean, there's over enough talent. The young guys coming through. Hopefully, they can see that within the communities, and I mean, they think children join the academies and play from a young age, and then hopefully that changes this perspective.
Exactly. I think as well in Sydney, where I'm from, and if the Waratahs are winning and the Wallabies are winning, the stadiums are packed.
Yeah.
Whereas at the moment, where we obviously had a frustrating year with the Waratahs, and since 2014 probably haven't reached the success that the New South Wales community and fans deserve. So, to be able to bring that back to the state and do that and compete with those, the rugby league crowds they get in Sydney, they're getting, 40,000, 20,000 to a game, massive crowds for every game. So hopefully over the next few years we can start to generate our own success in rugby and start to bring that excitement back that, we can have those big crowds and be playing in big games and home finals and create that buzz around rugby again.
So I hope you guys can do that. And if you finish your season now recently, right? There's about, say, 9 months until Super Rugby starts again, 2025. So would you be going down to to play against in the League of Australia in the rugby division? Or what would your plans be?
Yeah. I'll go back this weekend and play. I play my club football for East, and I should have mentioned that before. Because they've been so pivotal in my development. That when I left school, I went to the Eastern Suburbs Rugby Union Club, I played for them for this is my third year there now, in their first grade team. So I'll be back there this weekend and, aiming to win that comp this year, called the Shoot-Shield, which is a really, really high standard competition. It's a lot of Super Rugby players will come back and play it, and it's going to be exciting into the competition.
Awesome that you speak about the Shoot-Shield, because I remember I had Carlos Price from New Zealand. I had him on, and he was playing in Australia in the Shoot-Shield at the time, a couple of years back, and then COVID happened and all of those things. So he told me more about the Australian rugby, and So if what would the agreement then be between your club and then the Waratahs that you're contracted to?
Yeah, so how it works is that if you're during the Waratahs season, if you're selected to play for the Waratahs, you obviously play for the Waratahs. But if you're not selected in the match day 23 for the Waratahs, you'll go and train at the club on Thursday night, as well as train with the Waratahs on a Thursday, and then play for your club on Saturday. But now post Super Rugby season, we train with the Waratahs, I think 3 or 4 days a week now, and that's just light skills and gym work, and then we get to train fully with our clubs over the next few weeks and build into the last. I think there's 8 rounds to go in the Shoot-Shield, so and we're sitting in a pretty good position. So hopefully, can add to that success now and come back and bring some experience back from Super Rugby, and push further into that, because my club hasn't won for over 55 years. So it'd be pretty special to be a part of.
Definitely good luck to you guys. I hope you can pull that off, because obviously it would be historical. And so you're saying that there's a training with the Waratahs, so it happens all year round until you have a break, like probably around December time.
We have, our breaks normally around September, October time. So a lot of the players and a lot of the boys like to get away in that period and reset, and then come back into pre-season. Obviously now we have a new coach coming in who I'm Not sure who that's going to be, and potentially some new staff. So I'm actually not too sure what's going to happen around our leave this year and when that is, and when our preseason starts up.
That's awesome. And then, would you have, if you're training with the Waratahs and with your club, would the training with the Waratahs be in the morning, like a morning session, and then the evening you train with the club?
Yeah. So the way it works is we'd come in about 8 o'clock in the morning and get our gym and some skill work done, and then go and train with our clubs from 6 o'clock at night to 8 o'clock at night. Just because the club rugby competition is obviously semi-professional, and the fact that a lot of the players work throughout the day, so you've got to be able to accommodate, I guess, for them as well.
So would anybody be welcome to joining the club as well? Like if you're from the area?
Yeah. Every club in Sydney, I think there's 12 teams, 14 teams in the Shoot Shield, and they have first grade to fourth grade, and then 3 Colts teams at both clubs. So anyone's welcome at all those clubs. They're great social clubs, a lot of them. Whether there's parties on there after or functions or events, there's always something going on around club rugby, and it actually creates a good vibe around coming to watch rugby, coming to support rugby, and often those Shoot Shield games get pretty big crowds and really good atmospheres down there.
Exactly the same as ours. Yeah, I remember every single Saturday when I was younger, we used to go and watch my dad play and my uncle and all of their friends. It used to be every Saturday until you're old enough to play your matches for the school, for high school, every single weekend. And then until you're playing club rugby every single Saturday. So you follow, I guess, in the same pattern. So would family members have been your role model, or rugby players in your area?
I guess for me, I've been pretty lucky. I grew up with my dad was a professional player. Played for the Waratahs and Wallabies, and has been involved in coaching and around the rugby world. So I've been pretty lucky to have him there and sort of idolised him. But as well, growing up, he coached or was the assistant coach of the Waratahs for about 2008 or 2009 to 2011. So right when Bernard Foley was coming through, who's been my main sort of role model and someone who I've shaped my game off and got to Dad would do some kicking sessions with him, and I'd go down to the park and just fetch his balls for him, and just do anything he asked. So, I always sort of looked up to my dad and probably Bernard Foley, just because he grew up around this area. I played for my home state in the Waratahs, was the Wallaby 5'8", and obviously was such a good player and still is.
Definitely, that's awesome, man. And it's a great story, obviously, if the father can be a professional and the son as well, and hopefully pass that on to your children and create that lineage. Like, for example, if you look at the Barrett brothers, 3 of them being professional, that's awesome in itself, and then hopefully you can pass on that legacy as well.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's pretty cool that Dad and I both got to play he played for Eastern Suburbs as well as the Waratahs, so to have 2 of those ticked off which is pretty cool, and hopefully I can follow a little bit of his success and what he did throughout his career and become a Waratah and a Wallaby.
No, definitely, you have the talent. It's definitely there. The potential is there, and with the players around you, and obviously the Waratahs being a giant of Super Rugby since I can remember, you can definitely do it. I believe that.
Yeah, hopefully we'll see. Obviously, the next year, it's a big year for me. I got obviously my last game, getting a taste of a start in Super Rugby was really exciting, and looking on to 2025 now, being a big year with the Lions. It's a year that I really want to have a really big preseason and really put myself in a position to play really consistent Super Rugby next year and look to push on to further selection.
Definitely. What would a typical day in your life look like in season?
During
the season?
In season at the moment, or throughout the Super Rugby season, it was sort of get up at 6 o'clock and go into training. I normally get into training about 6:30, 6:40 in the morning. And I like to start off my day I normally do like an ice bath plunge and a hot bath just to warm up my body. And then go and have breakfast with the boys and have a good stretch. And then often we have a team meeting from about 8 to 8:30. And then I think normally a backs meeting from about 8:30 to 9 o'clock. And then we'd go out on field and train for about an hour, just over an hour, doing our unit session. So during that session, we get our kicking done, a lot of passing, backline moves and starter plays, as well as some edge attack. We'd then have about 15 minutes off and go into the gym and do a thing we call contact tech. So we do some contact work, obviously not live noise, but a fair bit of contact before our main gym session, and then do a full lift and have lunch, and then go into another team meeting where we'd focus on that session and what we wanted to get out of that. And this would be a Tuesday for us on that. This would be our big field session. So we train for probably just under 2 hours and get everything that we need to get done for the weekend, done at pace and done at speed, and bring our contact into it. And then post training, I love my kicking, so I stay out on the field for about an hour, just over an hour, and kick, and then do a bit of recovery and head home. And when I get home, it's watching training again and looking to see how I can improve.
Awesome. Eat, sleep, rugby, repeat. That's the way.
Exactly.
What would your motivation be to younger players coming through want to become professional players?
I think the main thing as a kid is just enjoying it, just having fun, playing with your mates, because that's when I know I'm at my best, when I'm playing with my mates, I'm having fun and I'm enjoying it. And then it is about working hard and knuckling down and doing the little things and making sacrifices and doing things that no one sees. I think is the biggest thing that you can do to give you a chance to have every chance of being successful.
So, Jack Bowen, thank you so much for taking out the time for coming on the Rugby Talk. It was awesome having you, brother.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me. Loved it.